Are you ready for an open discussion with the best of the best and the best of what's next? Welcome to the Tony DUrso Show. Join in on a great conversation today with some of the world's great influencers as they showcase great advice and techniques that made them the game changers they are today. Now, here's Tony DUrso.
Welcome. Thanks for hanging out with us. Today we're chatting with someone at the top of their category, an elite entrepreneur. We're going to talk about grabbing your passion with Bryna, or better yet, never say no. Now, these are simple words, and some of the biggest names in business, they tell you point blank to don't do that. They say, don't go for your passion. Really? Well, let's get past that. How about reaching for the stars and grabbing your passion to such a degree that your accomplishments, awards, victories, and success becomes an overwhelm for anyone to hear about? Really, an overwhelm. Now, I'm not sure where to go in this interview, but I ask you to listen and get inspired, get motivated, get enthused, get up and start doing things that follow your passion. Oh yeah, I remember some popular people have told you not to do that. Well, let me give you a little snippet here. And while we're at it, this is all about helping you and your friends turn your vision into reality. We want to help you get very successful at accomplishing your passion and living the dream. Meet Bryna. She's perhaps best known for her military tribute, Hometown Heroes, for the Air National Guard, where she's an honorary member and spokesperson. And she occasionally hosts That's America to Me, a show carried on the PGA Tour Radio's #1 talk show. And lastly, what I'm impressed about is that her single, Make-A-Wish, debuted at #7 on Billboard and led to her becoming a board director for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And I'm going to let her tell you more about it. Let's get into it. Hi, Laura. Welcome to the Tony DUrso Show.
Hi, thanks for having me. What a great way to start. Thank you for the intro.
It's my pleasure. It's my honor. We're going to talk about grabbing our passion. This is something I love. It's very
Amen.
deep and yeah. And before we kind of get into some of the things that you're doing, Laura, could you tell us what's your backstory? How did it all start for you?
Everything really started, I guess, ever since I really could talk, to tell you the truth, in which I got in trouble many times with my parents because I apparently have a really big mouth and I was always talking or I was always singing or doing something. But I always loved, making people smile. I want to make them feel something. I want to touch their heart. And so it all started in my basement in Maryland with my parents and my sisters. We thought we were just the cat's meow. We thought we were so great. And there we were with our metal spoons doing and singing different songs and dances and all these different things to my parents' jukebox. And they have these great songs. Oh my God, the oldies but goodies. And they're still around, the oldies but goodies, and such great music. They always stand the test of time. And there we were singing these songs, and we just thought we were amazing, charging my parents like 25 cents a show. Mind you, they saw the show like 5 times a day. So it just started from there. And I just, went and I did school plays. I was so blessed and honored to work with the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C., to then studying at the University of the Arts in Philadelphia, and then went to Nashville to pursue the dream. And yes, that's my cockatoo Snuggles. So I'm sorry if you see feathers flying around. We definitely have our own show here. But yes, then I went to Nashville. I really thought, what can I say next? What does Laura want to say? And I was so blessed, so fortunate. I do a lot of work with the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and it led to my first single with Equity Records with Clint Black, and it just took off from there.
I'm very impressed at everything, and I'm very serious when I say you're like an overwhelm with success in so many different fields. Now, I got that you started off very young in music. You found you could sing and perform and so forth. But you could have gone anywhere. You could have decided, hey, I want to be a teacher, which is a great profession. I want to be an accountant. Why did you, aside from the fact that it was, let's say, your knack, you wanted to go into music roles and do something. What was that vision? Where did it manifest saying, hey, this is what I really want to do in my life?
I think really it was in high school. We were doing this play, and I don't know, I was some like, uh, I guess it was kind of a showgirl kind of thing, but I was kind of this this late night uh, kind of torch singer, whatnot, and I had this crazy costume on. I don't know in high school, and there it was, and I was like, I had different what was my some of the words I some of my lines were, I love ice cream. I don't know why that resonates with me or why I was like, I think this is what I need to do. So, and yes, I do love some good ice cream, good chocolate chip. But it just all started from there, and I've done some off Broadway shows, and I've done some recordings for Rasputin, which is a Broadway bound musical, and like you said, I had this great teacher, and he's passed away now, but he was always like, Laura, I never want you to say no to any opportunity that comes your way. And he's like, you put on that pot of coffee or milk or whatever it is, or Sprite, which is one of my advices. He says, you put on a pot of coffee, you stay up all night, you learn the part, you learn the dance, whatever kind of music it is. I never want you to say no. I mean, I would say that I probably don't do rap as well, but I mean, but I love all different styles of music, and it just kind of took off from there. And country music has always resonated with me and in my heart. And I love the lyrics, I love the melody, I love what it's all about life experiences. And to me, that was where I needed to go next, was Nashville. So I packed up my birds and I drove with my dad to Nashville.
Laura, what's the overriding purpose behind what you do? Why are you doing this? Why music? I know you spoke about the vision, but now it's like, what's that reason behind it? Gets you up whether you get paid or not, and makes you want to do this?
It's interesting. Because you love it. I've never done drugs before, but I understand that high and that want to just keep going. To me, it's like, you want me, come, you want me, come get me, come get me, come get me. I'm like, okay. Like I feel like there's always something new and different. I love that there's so many opportunities in the music industry. In fact, my company is called LTD Entertainment, and that stands for Living the Dream Entertainment. So it's interesting going from Nashville to then coming out to Los Angeles to then returning to my roots in Nashville too, and Maryland. It's like you have this tunnel vision, and it's like, this is what you see, and it's like everything, I'm going after it. There's other things on the side here, but I'm like, no, 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 unless you're going to add to the dream, get out of the way. This is what I'm doing. And when I came out to LA, there's so many different opportunities here, not just music, but whether it's hosting radio shows, which I have the one with the PGA and Golf Talk America, but I've also, I've done a show called Serving Your Country with Ramblin' Ray Stevens out of Chicago. He's on US 99 there, the country station there. And we did a show that we played different country music, but also we did letters from home. We did dedications to men and women in the military. So to me, I love giving back. I love helping. And Los Angeles just kind of brought a lot of different opportunities to hosting television shows, to radio, to different things, and writing children's books. I never knew I was going to write children's books about my birds. I'm like, there's just so many different opportunities that have arisen. And I think with what that teacher told me, never say no to an opportunity. So it's like, I'm loving. No, I like to say that life is or this dream is kind of like a tree, because there's so many different branches coming off of this trunk. And it's like, oh, I could go host a radio show. That wasn't in the makeup as a child, thinking from Little Mount Airy, Maryland, like, oh, my dream was to sing. I didn't know that I was going to have a radio show or do children's books or go on a USO tour or any of these different things. those are just icing on the cake. It's like, oh, this is such a great drug. I need to go after it. Yum yum. So I keep chomping.
We're talking about grabbing your passion with Laura Bryna, and you can find her at laurabryna.com. That's LauraBryna.com. And make sure you see her TikTok. It is absolutely amazing, entertaining, funny, lively. I'm hooked on it. And I think that's how we actually connected. It's just great. And you're blushing a little, but your TikToks are just amazing. So
Thank
find Laura
you.
Bryna at TikTok. It's really, it's the stuff.
Oh, thanks. I love that you love it. We like to give different meanings and different we kind of do our own interpretations of songs and stuff, and we take them to a whole nother level. But we have a great family there. We call them I call our family's called the Bryniacs, and we've all coined this phrase, the Bryniacs. So it's a real positive space. It's a safe space, and everybody's welcome. We don't judge. Everybody is supported, and we have a little fun. That's what it's all about. It's a loving and caring environment. So I love it. You love
A couple little disclaimers here. I do not play the piano, though in a past life I did. And you got to look at Laura play the piano. You're going to shake your head and you're going to go, what?
it.
Is this like a Jerry Lee Lewis incarnate? No, she doesn't use her feet and her toes, but she is so fast and that good. I'm sorry, but just it really inspired me. And so that was number one. Number two is I've written one song. I've written and composed one song I call "Flying," which is the intro and extra on my first radio program called Revenue Chat Radio, and it's been downloaded over 1 million times. So I guess I'm a one-hit wonder. But it's a lot of work to just do one song, let alone a whole ton of them. So since we're kind of into music, let's kind of go into some of our entrepreneurs and business people in the world. They, I interview many people and you see their their guitars or their musical instruments in the backdrop. You know that they play it. Maybe they do things nights and weekends. So let's talk about breaking and making it in music and any hacks or tips or advice you could give us on that.
Absolutely. I have always been one. I think in life in general, we're always learning. There's always things to learn, especially in music and in our craft. I mean, you know, yes, I've learned a lot of different things along the way, but I have so much more to learn, and I'm so excited to do that. I down the road, I hope I'm always singing. I hope I'm always making music and performing. Whether it's, I mean, I've performed at the biggest arenas, but I've also performed. Hey, best performance is in your bathroom. Let's not lie, or in your shower. Nobody sounds better than in your shower, but but you can't beat those acoustics. But I just love any time to be intimate with my audience, my Briniacs. That's what it's all about, and we share that love and that connection and the love of music. Whether it's different life experiences we're going through, or whether it's just a great song and it's a feel good and it's fun. There's so many things to learn. Always learn. The other thing is, for me as a vocalist, you always have to warm up. It's like going to the gym. If somebody just doesn't go run, or you're watching the Olympics, they just don't go out and do their sport. They actually have to warm up. They have to get in the space. You have to get in the mental space to do that too. I think that's a lot of it too. So much of it is, being in that positive space. We all can get in that space in our mind where, well, can I do it? Do you think I can? Those different things. You're here. You have made it. This is the place that you're supposed to be. So to be positive and to continue that love of your craft, but really warming up is a big thing. Always meet with people. You know what? You can sleep later at a different time. It's all about here. The thing is, you never know who the little guy is going to be. So always take that meeting, take that lunch, take that, whether somebody's the water boy all the way up to the CEO, it does not matter. You know what? there's a lot that goes into making Laura Bryna the person. I mean, I'm just, yes, I may be the face and I may be the name, but you know what? I can't be me without a whole team behind me. And there is no I in the word team. But yes, I know people will say, but there's a me in there. And I'm like, nah, there ain't no me in there. It's really, I wouldn't be in this place if it wasn't for everybody that makes this dream happen around me. So thank you. And the other thing is, I will say is during this pandemic, I think I learned a lot about myself too, in the fact that you ask about passions and you ask about why do you do it, and it's like during this pandemic, it's been a lonely time for everybody. As somebody who's so used, I can't wait to get hugs. I am so excited about a hug and just to like shake someone's hand and hug them. I mean, that's how I was raised. My parents raised me to say hello, look at somebody in the eye and say, "Hey, how you doing?" It's been a lonely place for all of us, I think, and anybody who says it wasn't, it was. They're lying. I mean, this has all hit us in such a way that there's a lot of sadness to it. But I think what got me through too was music and that being creative in this creative space and being on my TikToks and the lives and being with the Brainiacs and really all of us sharing that love and the passion of music and helping each other through this difficult and tough time.
One of the things that I've realized since speaking with you and going over this topic of grabbing for the passion, never saying no, is that when we fulfill our passion, when we do that which we love, whether we're paid for it or not, it makes us feel so fulfilled that even if we are that school teacher, that accountant, that CEO, the manager, the businessman, whatever, we're doing what we love. And that helps shine, if I could say it that way, helps us
Yeah,
do better in what we do, even if we're not paid for it. And I think that's one of the things that is overlooked in following the passion, because it's like, oh, you want to, I'm just going to make this up, build and fly jet airplanes, but you may not really have that opportunity to do it and make
right,
money at it, but it's something that you can go into because it's your passion. And that's the whole thing, is the person himself feels fulfilled. When I do what I love doing, it just makes me feel so good. It doesn't matter if anyone likes it. It doesn't matter if anyone pays me. It's just, I love it.
right.
And while I'm making that point for music, because we're kind of on the music theme here for just a moment, for some of us that really just want to do something, I've heard amazing guitarists. I mean, amazing. And yet they work in some office or some business or some entrepreneur somewhere, and you would have no idea of what a quality musician that person is. And while we hear that it's a tough field and all this sort of other stuff we're not going to get into, I'm curious, would you advise, for just so we could unfurl ourselves, to hop on a TikTok? Would that be the best place to just start doing some of our music, for example, to stay on that topic?
You know what? TikTok is a great way to get your music out there. I mean, so many people have exploded from TikTok. I mean, just I know Ty Verdes was somebody that was working at a phone store, and all of a sudden he had just put out a song there, just having fun, and the thing went viral. And he's now playing all over the world. I think he's playing in Ireland. He's playing in all different places, and it's so exciting to watch people to grow and see their love, their passion happen. And I think exactly like what you're saying, you have to love it in order to be in this field. Because there's a lot of struggle, there's a lot of no, there's a lot of yes, there's a lot of great and bad to it. But it's because you love it, because you wouldn't do anything else. That's the reason to be a musician, to be a vocalist, to be a recording artist, to be a bass player, whatever it may be. It's because you love it and you can't imagine doing anything else. Because I mean, there's a lot of there's on the road, but that's exciting stuff. But I mean, you're living on a bus or you're living on a plane or all these different things, and you're in a different city every second. I remember being on the Clint Black tour, my dad asking me, he's like, "Hey Lou," he's like, "How was we saw you in Pennsylvania, was the show in North Carolina the same? And I'm like, yeah, it was great because you're in a different city, like you're blowing and going through different cities, and you're like, so sometimes they have to write down on the floor of the stage where you are because you're like, things just start going together. But I loved it. It was, I mean, I love touring. I was like, please don't bring me home. I'm so itchy. I've been so itchy during this pandemic. I'm like, I just want to get back out there and be with everybody, be with all the Bryniacs and tell stories and have music and give hugs and do what we love to do. I'm so itchy. I need some cortisone pronto. I'm just kidding.
Laura, let's move on to the International Guard and the military and your work there to kind of open up another facet or another dimension of what you do.
I love my work with the military. I'm so proud of that. In fact, here's one of the flags that flew with me in my F-16 ride with the Air National Guard, which that was probably one of the best things I've ever done in my life. But as I say, I love giving back and I love helping. And my job with the Air National Guard was to kind of let everybody know what these brave men and women do every day. And, when they say the National Guard, there's the Army National Guard and there's the Air National Guard. And so a lot of the money was going towards the National Guard because it's a bigger branch. But yet there's the Air National Guard that they're everywhere too. And they're kind of the unsung heroes. And my job was to tell everybody, hey, wait. They're amazing too. And, they're over in Iraq, but they're here defend. I mean, they're everywhere. So, I mean, they helped with Katrina. They're helping in Kuwait. They're over in Iraq. I mean, they're all over the place. And it was kind of a campaign just to let them know that these men and women are doing great things for our country and for the people that they protect and defend. And so I got to refuel 8 F-16s in the air. It was, and they're like, hey, it's like, oh my God, there it was. The plane pulls up to the other plane, hooks up the gas, the gas. I'm like, oh my God, what is this? It was amazing. Like, oh, hi, Sam. I saw, your wife it was so great chatting with her. And then they're like, all right, I'll see you. And they're off. And I'm like, oh my God. But I got to take an F-16 ride myself. I pulled 9 Gs, didn't throw up. I'm very proud of that. Because I was like, I am not going to throw up. I do not want this going all over me. But so that was really exciting. And I got a call sign, Little Thunder, and my flag that flew underneath my seat with me on my trip. But yeah, I mean, I love being a part of the family. They have an esprit de corps is what they call, and that's the whole love of each other. And I love that branch, and I love all of our military. I'm involved with a lot of different organizations, Homes for Our Troops, Wounded Warrior, Folds of Honor. They do a lot of great things, and they take care of the families and their education and build homes for wounded veterans that need their home adapted for when they come back from being injured overseas. Or I mean, it's just I think growing up, my parents always said to me, Laura, we want you to always give back and help people less fortunate. And sorry, I have a little moment. I lost my dad this year in April of 2021, and I want to honor that and give back and help people in any way that I can. And so that's always been important to me, and I want to carry that through.
I'm sorry about the loss of your dad.
Thank you. Yeah, he was an amazing man. Thank you.
Laura, as part of that, in a way, one of the dimensions or facets of Laura is your work with the Make-A-Wish Foundation, which has really touched my heart. Can you please tell us about that?
Thank you. Yeah, I love Make-A-Wish too. I've been involved with a lot of different chapters with Make-A-Wish in LA, Philly, Nashville, the Mid-Atlantic. There's they do a lot of great work. And what's so wonderful is now our mission statement has changed with the Make-A-Wish Foundation. It used to be children who are terminally ill. Well, children now are living through some of these horrific diseases. And, at some point, I'm hoping we don't need Make-A-Wish anymore because these children will be living and will be rid of cancers and different things like that. But it's just an amazing, amazing organization. They grant children's wishes for children who have life-threatening diseases. So we grant wishes for children, and going through all different kinds of treatments and things like that. In fact, my brother was a Make-A-Wish child, and my brother had suffered a brain aneurysm, was in a coma for 6.5 months, and now he's doing great. He's got 2 kids, he's married, and just living life to the fullest. But he actually denied or turned the wish down. He said, "You know what? Give this to another child who really needs it because I've gotten better." And a lot of them want to go to Disney World, or I know one of my kids wanted to meet Deborah Messing, and that, like, all different things. And some of these wishes, these kids are so creative. Our these they have such imaginations and things like that, and there's no limitation. They have just this will to live, and to me, it's this is our future, just like teachers are so amazing and they mold us who we are, and they let us dream. These kids have such a will to live, and just to give them one chance to smile and have the time of their life is what we need to do. And I've sat on the board of the Make-A-Wish Foundation, the Mid-Atlantic chapter, and I've done everything from grant wishes to stuffing envelopes. I've made phone calls. I've done fundraisers with, like, Duff, who does, Ace of Cakes, and he's out of the Maryland, D.C. area too. So, but yeah, there's so much good that comes out of this, and I really do. I hope that we can get rid of these awful, disgusting diseases, and through this, I co-wrote a song called Make-A-Wish. That yes, thank you for your lovely compliment and the comments on the song. And I got together with a couple of friends, and we co-wrote this song called Make-A-Wish. And every child that you see in this video, which I made sure, I said my only requirement about this video is that I want to make sure that there is one Make-A-Wish child in this video. I want them to be able to represent what this wonderful organization does. But in fact, Trey Fanjoy, the director of the video, said, "Oh, I'm going to do better than that." All of these kids are Make-A-Wish kids, and they've all lived. So, which is really amazing. I know one of them had a tumor the size of a grapefruit, and it disappeared. It went away. Through all these different treatments and things like that. I mean, science is so amazing where it is today, and I love that our mission statement has changed to life-threatening. And so I wanted to make sure that this song conveyed what this wonderful organization does and what these children are all about. And so I love this song. I'm so proud of this song. And I remember, actually, it's really funny. This is how the whole thing started. Was I know a couple record companies had come up to my manager, actually in Kroger, in the grocery store, while he was, like, I think he was getting toilet paper, and they were like, "We really want to talk to you about Laura and this Make-A-Wish song." So really, it is all about being at the right place at the right time. Just go hang out in the toilet paper section of Kroger. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it's interesting how the dream all kind of unfolds and different things like that. But yeah, I'm really proud of that song and just my work with Make-A-Wish. It's a great organization.
That is very touching. And for everyone in the audience, check that out. Check out the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Check out Laura's song and get involved. Let's help these. A lot of us do that. We're doing that. We've been doing that for about 5 years. And it's just a great, rewarding feeling to give back and help. So I highly encourage that. That's part of being successful, because you can't necessarily hold everything yourself and still be successful. You have to give. It has to flow out, and then it flows back. That's part of it. I hope you really understand that on a deeper level, because it really does work that way. And one of the things I want to get into, Laura, is we're always on the lookout for what helps bring us success or helps take our business to the next level. We've been talking about this a little bit. And one of the things that I find are that personal habits sometimes really are amazing. Some of the guests we've had, and we'd love to know any personal habits you have that you feel contribute to the success of you accomplishing your vision.
Yeah, you know what? That's such a great question too. So I was always raised, my parents, and I know we're in the way the era of email and all of that. I still handwrite a thank you note. And nowadays you don't always get everybody's, their home address or their work address, but because everything's email and quick, 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 quick. I'm still, I don't even do online banking. I'm still like old school in that sense. I handwrite everything. I do all that. I don't know. My mom says, she's like, Laura, you may get hit over the head with a pot. I'm like, really? So that's why I don't have a debit card. I don't have any of this stuff. But I am all about that personal touch. And I'll tell you something that happened. So with writing my thank you notes, I was doing an interview on a television show, and I was really excited about it too. And I walk up, and there was a woman doing the entertainment. She was being interviewed talking about somebody who's having a shindig with somebody else or whatever, one of those kind of shows. But so there it was. She's coming off, and I'm getting ready to go on, and this woman comes up to me. She goes, Laura, it's so great to see you again. I have your note in my office when I was at Country Weekly. So she had a different job at the time, and now she's on ABC or whatever it was. And she's like, I always remember your thank you note, and I have it hanging on my bulletin board in my office. And so that kind of full circle, like you never know who someone's going to be or going to turn out to be. But it's those little touches and those little things that people remember. And also my mom would smack me on my tush probably if I sent an email, but that's a whole other animal. But no, it's really those little things you never know. Another thing I was going to do, I was offered a thing to do a reality show, and the girl who was actually, I think the assistant to the stylist or whatever it may be, she actually called years later. This was on my Life is Good video. She called a couple years later. She said, hey, I am the producer of this show, and I would love for you to come on. So you never know who anybody is, and it always pays to be nice. Life is too damn short. If anything I've learned with stuff with my dad this year and just life in general, life is too damn short. All those cliches work. If it ain't broke, why fix it? That's one of my favorite ones. But and my dad was so true. He was so right. He always said, Laura, the cliches always work. And it really is. Less is more, all those different things. It's it pays to be nice. It takes so much effort to be mean. It really does. And why do you want to bring somebody else down? It's not fun. It doesn't make anybody feel good. It's the worst. Why not be nice or say nothing at all?
I love it. Laura, you've given us such good information and some good insights into different facets of your life. And we are entrepreneurs. We're businessmen. We're always looking for taking ourselves to the next level. I know I've said that a couple of times. And I'm looking for any particular advice or wisdom or guidance that you would like to share. You have a free mic here. What would you like to say to today's business world to help them, especially through the times that we have now? I think any advice, any encouragement is great encouragement. So take the mic, take the floor. What would you like to say to today's business world?
Well, Tony, that's a loaded question. And, that's something I can really take over the mic. I'm just kidding. The wisdom I would say is just learn, keep learning, and experience life. You can sleep at another time. Just get out there. It's always meeting people. It's networking. It's learning as much as you can. That's the thing I would say, and do what you love, because again, life is too short. It's do what you love, because if you don't, it's not going to work. And be authentic, be you, because they know when you're not. Everybody knows when you're not. I love hair, I love makeup, I love fun clothes, all of those things. And I remember people in the music industry saying, oh, why does she have to open her mouth that wide? Why does she have to why does she have to have big hair? Why does she have to use hairspray? Why does she have all that glitter on and do this? And you know what? That's what the fans, or that's what our Bryniacs are. I call them family. Nobody's a fan. That's what people relate to. That's what they relate to about me, is that I'm who I am. I pick my nose just like everybody else does. And I come from Mount Airy, Maryland. I throw my hair up and thing. I got a few zits on my chin right now. I love my glitter makeup. What you see is what you get. Be the most authentic you can be.
That is so great. Very, very sage advice. Very wise, very good. And one
Fine.
thing I happen to notice, you've mentioned it several times. Usually my guests don't mention advice that they get from their parents. You've brought it up a little bit. And as we've been chatting, I see that you've been schooled in certain manners, in certain ways, in certain this is how you do it. We call that old school. That's I don't see that too much today. And I'm very impressed. I'm thinking you still carry a lot of great lessons and acknowledge your parents for those lessons, like how your mom has raised you. And I think that that's really we need that. That's very important, and I don't see enough of that. So I wanted to comment on that. That I can see how that upbringing really helps a lot, and especially in one accomplishing their vision, their goal.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. You know, I love my parents. I'm so blessed and so lucky to have amazing parents, and that to have that support is really just an unbelievable feeling. And I know when you tell your parents, "Hi, I want to be in music," they're like, "Oh God, now what?" Like, "Well, are you sure you don't want to be an accountant? Are you sure you don't want to be a dentist?" So, I mean, the fact that they were just like, "Go, live your dream. We're here. We're behind you. Whatever that is, go do it." And I'm really, really blessed and so lucky to have that. And the other thing I will say is we always sat around the kitchen table or the dining room table, however you want to say, and we would always talk about our days at dinner time, after school, after sports, after music class, after rehearsal, whatever it may be. We all sat at the dinner table and talked about our days, and I think that was so important, just to be there and to be present and to really connect and know that you have that family support behind you. And I was always the last one to leave the table because I was always talking. Figure that. And so I was a slow eater. So I would be there for 2 hours, and my parents would have to ask the doctor, like, do you think she's okay? I mean, she just is constantly talking and whatever. It's like, no, she just needs to have little meals. She's just, she's fine. My parents were like, oh my God, she doesn't stop talking. Sorry. Side note.
You made me think when people get together today, and I see this at restaurants, I see this all over. They're not talking to each other.
They're on their phone.
They're talking to their cell phone
Yep.
and being social and you know being that social lion to someone else somewhere else in the world. And it's just so amazing. I see that it's like it's such a habit. I see people in the restaurant when I'm there, they're always picking up their phone, looking at it. Did someone like what I said? Did someone respond? And
Right.
it's like they can't put it down. And you grew up in that environment. So did I as a child. We didn't have that. And we actually spoke to each other. And it's
Right.
just really interesting that your family got together. And I think it's a great moral. It's a great thing to do. And I know I've run into guests here. They say no cell phones are allowed at their table, but not enough. And I think
Right.
it is just so amazing to bring back to basics. People speaking to other people, especially with some of the madness that's been going on. People are kind of indoctrinated not to, but yet I think that's very successful in us being ourselves, as well as being successful in our business, our passion, our endeavors.
Right. No, absolutely. I actually have to tell you a funny story about the cell phone thing. I was out to dinner with a couple friends, and we were noticing this couple next to us who were doing this on their phones and the whole thing. And I noticed they got dessert, and one of my major vices other than Sprite is whipped cream. I love whipped cream. And they had gotten this great dessert. It was like this butter cake, and there was this mound of whipped cream. And loud Laura, always talking. I'm like, oh my God, they brought whipped cream. That's amazing. And they were like, oh yeah, do you want some? And I was like, all right. I walked over and I stuck my finger in and I took it. And I was like, and it got them talking again. That's exactly what you're saying. It's like, you all need to, this doesn't work. It's like, it can't be that. That can't be where we are. We're human beings. If anything, this pandemic has taught us it's, hi, I'm Laura, you're Tony, let's let's be here. Let's be present. Let's love one another. Let's come together.
I think that would help us in our relationships, in our lives, in our business. It would help us everywhere. What would you think would be some good points? Okay, we talked about don't have the cell phone when we're at the table, but you've said some very provocative and profound things today in this interview, Laura. You've talked about going up to people and saying hi. It's like, did you not read the news? That's not allowed.
I know. It's like, I'll have some of your whipped cream. Sure. Clonk. I mean, you know, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade.
So true, so true. Laura, I really appreciate everything you've gone over with us. And I feel inspired because you've done so many things, and I've called you multidimensional. You've just done many things like a diamond. You shine on multiple facets, if I'm saying that correctly, the
Oh,
right
thank you
way.
so much.
We talked about grabbing your passion, never saying no with Laura Bryna, and you can find her at laurabryna.com. Laura, this was just a nice, simple, elegant chat about doing the things that we love. And if we all did that, I believe we'd be more successful at our job, our career, our relationship, our business, because it's all about, I think, enjoying life. I mean, there's a point where, and I don't want to say it a bad thing, but there's just a point where you're kind of saturated and you just enjoy things, not just being content, but really, really enjoying life. And I think we got a good glimpse of some of that today in this interview.
Yay! I'm trying. I'm still learning, and I'm excited for more and can't wait to see what the future holds. And thank you for having me. It's been so fun, and thank you for letting me connect with the Brainiacs here on your show. That's during the pandemic, we haven't had many ways to connect. So thank you for allowing that to happen. I really appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for hanging out with me while I featured an elite entrepreneur who took her vision to reality. I'm motivated, I'm inspired. We discussed grabbing your passion with Laura Bryna, or better yet, never say no. We talked about taking that passion and working on it. Is that the right way to say it? Exploding it, exploring it, using it, getting it out there. Whether you make money or not, if it's your passion, if it's what you love to do, then do it because it's going to help you at the workplace, in your relationships. It's going to help you on your career. And if you make money at it, that's even better, but you don't necessarily have to. And it is against the current, let's call it the current schools of thought that say to not do it. And I'm saying it helps you become more alive. It helps you become more of who you are. And a lot of you are into music. We talked about how to break in and making it in music. Even if you, again, just throw something up on TikTok and just let it roll while you're doing your job as a manager, you're working for a landscape company, you're an accountant, you're custom framing pictures or whatever. You're exploring your passion, you're using your passion. There's some great people out there with great abilities, and but we don't know about it. So take that, and even if you don't use it for work, have fun with it. That's the key. Just splurge on it. Just live your life with it. And we talked about her work with the International Guard and the military, her work with the Make-A-Wish Foundation, something you should definitely check out. We talked about some very good points here. Some you may utilize right now at home or in the workplace. Some perhaps maybe we've inspired you to check it out. And maybe you have some other points. I'd love to hear about it in the comments section, or just send me a tweet and tell me what you think would help explore the passion. We'd love to hear from you. Please engage. And remember, supporting the show with a nice review on Apple Podcasts, as well as the comments on the video platforms. And yes, share this with a few friends to help them too. I know I've said that before. All right. So let's use this and help you move on your journey to success. Thanks. And remember, Just take action. Success awaits those who persevere and remain steadfast despite the odds. Sow good seeds, do good deeds, and join me on the next episode of The Tony DUrso Show.
We hope you've enjoyed this week's edition of The Tony DUrso Show with his key influencers. Be sure to tune in again next Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Pacific Time on the Voice America Influencers channel.